All right, kids, here we are. Here we go. It is just after high noon. My name is Matt Murphy, and conveniently, this is the Matt Murphy Radio Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, hello, hello. Hope everybody had a great weekend. We've got a great week of what I hope to be talk radio excellence in store for you starting on this Monday, September 9, 2024 edition of our broadcast together. It is, as I mentioned, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We are brought to you in part by U.S. Pest on the television side of things. I'll get to more on that in a moment. I appreciate you being here. Whatever time you're able to spend with us, we're certainly appreciative. We've got a full 3 hours. That's 180 minutes of broadcast time. And I hope you're able to be here every moment of that. But if it's just 5 minutes or so while you're in the car or whatnot, we appreciate that as well. Brian Wilson comes right after us. With the drive from 3 until 7 o'clock. And tomorrow, the drive will be broadcasting live from Scoreboard Cedar Creek as we anticipate the big debate watch party. The big debate watch party. And let me tell you something. Depending on where Bell K is on this process, I could not be more excited. I'm about to lose control. I think I like it. I'm so excited about this debate! Can't tell you how excited I am. For a lot of different reasons that we will go over during the Libertarian Lunchtime Hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN today. Before I get into it, pardon me. Oh, yes, ma'am. She'll throw that in there, by the way. Regardless of whether or not Trump's mic is muted, watch for the I'm speaking. I'm thinking we should take a shot every time she says it, which... No, I think we'll be all right on the I'm speaking.
That could be dangerous.
I think we're all right on the I'm speaking because of the mic cancellation when the individual's not speaking. One way or the other, it is Locks for Trump Day 191 days ago on March 1st. I made a commitment to the listening audience that I would not cut my hair until we had a new president-elect of the United States of America. And that could have been in 2028 at the time that I made the commitment because Joe Biden was still in the race. But now... Joe Biden is no more. Donald Trump dispatched of him on June 27th. We all watched that together in Hop Springs. Did you have a good time in Hop Springs? I mean, many of you were there. I mean, it was a full house. I mean, hell, Ken Weaver was there. I remember it like it was yesterday that Ken Weaver was in Hop Springs. There was Johnny B there. Who else was there? Brian Wilson was there. Bell K was not. Chris Hand was there. I saw Chris Hand. I saw, who else did I see? I think Jay Harper came. Who else was there? I got Johnny B.
Dan Mandis.
Ken Weaver. Hold on, Ken. I'm thinking. So there was Ken Weaver. There's Brian Wilson was there. Did I mention Hand? I mentioned Hand. He was there. Jay was there. Who else am I missing? Who'd you say, Ken? Who'd you say, Ken?
That's Brother Dan Mandis.
No, I don't think he was there. Was he there? I'm kidding. Dad was there.
Remember, he wore a big old cowboy hat.
He looked, hey, in all seriousness, did he not look great? And Dan Mandis is hard to take a compliment. And I know I am too. I mean, most of us in radio have some sort of mental issues, and I'm hard to take a compliment as well. But Mandis is hard to take a compliment.
You're difficult. He's impossible.
He's impossible. Yeah, well, that's a good way of saying it, Bell. He's impossible to take a compliment. And somebody gave him a cowboy hat, and he put it on and looked great. Looked great in the cowboy hat. And everyone was saying, you look great in this cowboy hat. And he's like, no, I don't. Yes, you do. Everyone's saying so. So maybe you think he'll wear the cowboy hat tomorrow?
That'll be something, man.
Ken, are you coming? Or are you able to? I'm putting you on the spot. We didn't talk about this beforehand. Are you going to be able to be there tomorrow night?
I'm still in the decision mode.
Oh.
Still in the deciding mode.
Decision 2024.
I don't have to wake up at stupid o'clock.
That's why I asked. I mean, I would never have asked you otherwise.
What is it, like a hop, skip, and a jump over there from here?
Oh, man. I mean, it's easy peasy from Murfreesboro, man.
Well,
I'll be
leaving from here.
Oh,
dude.
You just go there. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. Here's what you do, kid. You just head down 40.
Yeah.
And instead of cutting down 24, you just keep on 40. And you go over there for a minute, and then you swing back over to Murfreesboro. I mean, Mount Juliet's just I could throw a rock and hit Murfreesboro.
That's what I was fixing to say.
So there you go. There's Ken Weaver. He's back in the newsroom gathering headlines as we speak. Ken, I got a big plan for this Monday at 12:35. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So right after the newscast,
at
12:35, I've been wanting to do this for a year and a half. And dadgummit, I'm going to do it.
Okay.
And it involves Ken and Bell and all of you. So it was I don't know how your weekend was. There's good, there's bad. Every weekend there's good, there's bad. So I want to know the best of the worst of the weekend, and we're going to call it best weekend ever, worst weekend ever. So at 12:35, you call us or you write on the membersnutrition.com super text line what made it the best weekend ever. I'm going to say best weekend ever, worst weekend ever. You tell me what made it the best weekend ever or the worst weekend ever.
Excelente.
I think Ken Weaver's could be the same answer.
Yeah. In my opinion.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We were talking about it earlier. It might be. Best weekend ever, Murph. And I won't take your answer, but anyway. So Chris says, come on, Ken. Everybody wants Weaver at the party. I'm not putting any pressure on the man. He's already working a full day.
Whew. Yeah, and it's hard work, too.
Weaver only works half days, 12 hours a day.
I might actually chip a fingernail in here typing away at some
That's
of these
actually
news
kind of close
stories.
to true.
That is true. That's what my grandpa used to tell people that. People say, CZ, you working on it? I just work half days, 12 hours a day. That's true. So, all right. So we'll get into best weekend ever, worst weekend ever at 12:35. It's your chance to tell us what happened in your life. It could be personal. It could be sports related. It could be political. It could be anything. What made it the best weekend ever and what made it the worst weekend ever? And I ask both questions of everyone participating. That's 12:35 this afternoon.
All right.
All right. I'm excited about that. I'm also excited about this debate. I understand that Kamala Harris is a tougher nut than Joe Biden. And I use the analogy intentionally, nut. Joe Biden was not ready. And I almost feel saddened for Joe Biden. I put this out on social media over the weekend that not only do they tell the guy he has to run again, and I believe they did, right? Not only do they tell the guy, hey, you want to run again because we really need you this time around, and whatever happens after the election happens after the election. We know you're old and infirm, but you got to run again because we got nobody else. I mean, after all, we got this awful human being as vice president who is more unlikable than Hillary Clinton, which is saying something. So you've got to run again, Joe, they say. I'm just backing this up to explain to you what happened this weekend and why it was so pathetic. So they initially, and I don't know that it took a lot of encouragement to convince him that he could win another election against Donald Trump, but they had nobody else. They had nobody else. Because if you dispatch of Joe, they know they've got Kamala. Kamala's damaged goods. Now, this is the thought process in February of this year, okay? That's not that long ago. In February of 2024, it was decided that they had to go with Joe. There's nobody else. We know that he's infirm. We know that he's incapable. But as long as he can get himself on a stage and wave and deliver a speech with any sort of modicum of rational thought, we'll survive it. After all, he beat Donald Trump once before, they said. So they trot him back out. They convince him, this is your time, Joe. Yeah, your legacy. You'll win. You'll be a two-time president. Woo! And then they realize it's not going well. They understand how poorly it's going. And so they decide, they being the powers that be, and let's be real specific because I don't like the random they. I shy away from the random they. They are Barack Obama, to a lesser degree Nancy Pelosi, and Barack Obama's minion circle, including people like Susan Rice, Valerie Jarrett, and others. Ron Klein, I think, is in there too. And other decision makers of the Obama tree. They convinced Kamala Harris that this was bad. And while she publicly was proclaiming her dedication and loyalty to Joe Biden, secretly behind the scenes, she was scheming with people to deny almost 15 million voters their ability to cast a ballot for the nominee for president of the United States for the Democrat Party. And they decided that they needed to figure out whether or not they could depend on Joe Biden, which is why they convinced Joe Biden to challenge Trump to a debate early so that they could dispatch of him if he performed poorly. Then they didn't give him his cocktail. He had this cocktail during the State of the Union address. Whatever it was, I don't know. Maybe it was Red Bull. I don't know. I have no idea what they gave him. It could have been Red Bull, could have been drugs. For all I know, given the evidence in front of us, it could have been cocaine. Murphy, how dare you say that? You can't say that. You can't accuse the president of the United States of taking cocaine. It's not as if they found cocaine in the White House. Oh, wait. I don't know what they had him on, but they had him on something on the State of the Union address stage that they did not have him on the debate stage, which I believe was also on purpose. We can't continue to prop this dude up with drugs. We need to know whether or not he can perform on his own, and he couldn't. He fell on his face. And then they dispatched Obama and Nancy Pelosi and others to explain to him, Kamala Harris on the sidelines, ready to pounce. Joe, you can't continue. There's the 25th Amendment dangling out here, buddy, and we don't want to do this the hard way. We want to do this the easy way. You can be a conquering hero. And they threw him to the curb. To hell with the voters that voted for him. To hell with the idea that he was the only guy. They realized their better option was to go against the vice president that they hated in February. The vice president that the Washington Post and the New York Times was saying needed to step down for the good of the country in March of this year. Okay? Same woman. Same woman. And they dispatch of him, and they give him a moment in the sun early during the Democrat National Convention to give what was supposed to be, I assume, a rousing lion in winter type swan song speech, which fell on its face because, you know, Joe Biden is Joe Biden. Joe Biden has never been good at this. Unless he's, I don't know, stealing the words of other people or whatever. Which he did quite a bit during the early years of his senatorial tenure and during his previous presidential campaigns, 1998. You youngsters in the audience, look that up. Murphy's not making that. I make some things up. I'm not making that up. He left the 1988 presidential race because he was caught plagiarizing major portions of speeches. So they throw him to the curb and they give him a little moment in the sun. And then they say, just go to the beach, Joe, and serve out the rest of your time. In return for all of this, Joe, you get to serve out the rest of your time. You get to act in a dignified fashion. And oh, by the way, come November 6th or whenever you choose to do it, you get to pardon your son, Hunter Biden. There's one reason and one reason alone that Hunter Biden pled guilty last week to the charges against him is because he has the knowledge that he's going to get pardoned after November. They can't do it before the election, but they damn sure will do it afterwards. And I don't feel confident about a lot. I mean, I was 100% sure that Notre Dame would put a whooping on Northern Illinois over the weekend. 100%. And I'm not 100% on this, but I'm 99.9% sure that Joe Biden is pardoning his son after the election. But I say all this to say, I almost felt bad for the guy because Kamala is doing so poorly. There are a couple of things that happened over the weekend, friends, that have me very excited about tomorrow and very excited about the future of this country. And one of them was the sight of Joe Biden on the campaign trail. Y'all see that? Joe Biden was out there in the Rust Belt states campaigning for his girl. Oh, yeah. Now, you tell me, just using the brain that God gave you, do you think that Joe Biden would be out on the campaign trail if Kamala was doing well? Just yes or no. Do you think if Kamala's doing as good as we were lied to regarding the polls as recently as 2 weeks ago, do you think if she's doing that well that they would want to attach her to the failures of the Biden administration? That's a serious question, Joe. That's a serious question. Corn Pop was a bad dude. On that, we agree. Will you play that clip one more time? Does he not sound so good there? And he wasn't. I mean, he's speaking in a, I mean, that was 4 years ago. Man, this guy's gone downhill. There is 0% chance that Joe Biden's on the campaign trail for Kamala Harris if Kamala Harris is performing well in Pennsylvania or Michigan or Wisconsin. Now, I understand that we've got a ways to go in Wisconsin and maybe even in Michigan, such a union blue state, but she's getting her butt kicked in Pennsylvania. She's losing in North Carolina. She's losing in Arizona and losing in Georgia. And they know it. And she does not have any policy positions to repair what she has lost. Tomorrow night, Kamala, you have to continue to be the radical liberal that brought you to where you are and be a moderate. And I don't think you can weep. I don't think you can fit that camel's hair through the needle, ma'am. I don't think you can do it. So I'm as excited as can be about the events of tomorrow night. I'm excited about the next 60 or so days. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun together, and I hope you join us for every single moment of it. It is a Monday edition. Real quick, it is episode 647 of The Proceedings. We're on radio on 99.7 FM. Anywhere you stream news or music or information or podcast, you can stream us on those platforms. Just type in Supertalk 99.7 WTN. We are, of course, on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, on Supertalk TV. I love Supertalk TV because you get to see that I got some sun yesterday riding on my motorbike. More on that coming up in a moment. That might be a part of my best weekend ever. Bell K, it's episode 647 on the television side of things. What's the title?
Matt Murphy, liberty and fashion icon, except for the underwear. He goes commando there.
Have I ever told you about the time I was at Lambert's down on the beach and I didn't have any underwear on and we were waiting to get a table?
Whoa.
No.
I assume you don't have any underwear on all the time.
Right. But it's this was y'all know Lambert's is. Do we know Lambert's up here? Lambert's, home of the throwed rolls. No, oh. Ken Weaver, you would love Lambert's. They don't do it like they used to.
Yeah.
Because of lawsuits. But they still do it where they walk. There's people that walk around with these big old bowls of yeast rolls, and if I say, "Hey, yeast roll," he'll throw you one from across the restaurant. Just throw you a roll.
So you can play catch with it.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, throw me one of them rolls, and he'll throw you one. Smack. Oh, great place. Now, they move. They get close to you before they throw the rolls now because apparently somebody got hit in the head, and it was a big deal. But whatever. They used to throw them across the room. So I'm waiting on a table at Lambert's years and years and years ago, and I'm down there with the wife and a couple of other couples, and we had been to the beach, and I had beach attire on, and I changed from beach attire to regular shorts to go to Lambert's, and I didn't bother with the underwear, and I didn't know I split my pants. And so this is a true story. And so I'm outside on their big front porch leaning over a railing, talking about how good them rolls are going to be, and my friend a friend of ours went over and told Erica, you might want to tell Matt to go put some underpants on.
Some underpants.
Had my big white hiney all bright and shiny out there for everybody to look at. Anyway, 24 after the hour. We got to get to hit all this and then news and then best weekend ever, worst weekend ever. It's all to come on The Murphy Show. Hello, friends. I want to talk to you about the foundation of your home for a moment because it's so very important. And maybe you've noticed some of the signs that you need to do something or call someone about the foundation, but you're worried about it because you know that it will be expensive. Well, it doesn't necessarily need to be that expensive, and this problem will not go away on its own. You need professionals that are going to charge you only for what needs to be repaired. Those professionals, USS, United Structural Systems. For over 30 years now in Middle Tennessee, they've been helping people just like you repair whatever foundation issues might be involved in your home's sinking or sagging, or perhaps you have issues with windows sticking or doors sticking. Whatever the situation, they can repair it at USS, United Structural Systems. They also deal in waterproofing and concrete leveling at USS. So give them a call if you've noticed any of the signs. If you smell a musty smell or an odor coming from the basement or crawl space, that's another telltale sign. Friends, you need to get with USS. Go to USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com. Or call 615-488-7855, 488-7855 for USS. Attention, gentlemen. Have you noticed a lack of energy, motivation, or drive? Are you in your 40s or even in your 50s and you just can't get it done like you used to could get it done, right? Whether that's yard work or in the gym or in the bedroom. Yes, men, it happens to the best of us. As a matter of fact, 50% of the men listening to this advertisement will go through some form of, dare I say, inability in the bedroom at some point in their lives. There's no shame in this, men, because there are solutions today to help you at the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Go to the experts for over 10 years, proven experts in Midtown Nashville. They also have an office in Cool Springs. They can assist you in your needs. Gentlemen, let's reinvent men's health care and reinvigorate our lives through Tennessee Men's Clinic. All you need to do is schedule an appointment today. Go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com to find out more information about how they can help, or call them at 615-208-9090. 208-9090. Men just like you have found new life again through the Tennessee Men's Clinic. You could be next. TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
New details about a fishing trip Friday night that went very badly coming up at 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Oh, I just got started already. I'm running late. I know. It's on me. So here's what we'll do. We're going to reset. We're going to do a best weekend ever, worst weekend ever segment. I'm going to try this for a few weeks. If it works, if y'all have fun with it and it's all up to you, then we're going to have a good time. And we'll do this every Monday where you can tell us what the best part of the weekend was, what the worst part of the weekend was. We'll also talk about the debate coming up tomorrow and why I'm so excited about it. There are many different aspects of this. It's debate week. Quote her to her. I mean, just policy. There's so many different angles that we can take with this, and we'll all be watching together at Scoreboard Cedar Creek tomorrow, starting at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So we'll get to all of that. Your telephone calls already coming in. Best weekend ever, worst weekend ever, our premiere segment of this new, well, what I hope to be long-standing Monday tradition is on the way next on Super Talk.
12:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and we are tracking the potential for rain the latter half of the week. We need it. Full forecast coming up in just minutes. Metro Police investigating after the body of a man was pulled from the Cumberland River yesterday afternoon. Police say 59-year-old James Anthony Taylor's body was recovered from the river near Baptist World Center Drive. His sister had reported him missing Friday night. The two had been fishing along the riverbank. She said she left to go get food from home. When she tried to call him, he wouldn't answer. She got back to the riverbank where they had been fishing, and her brother was not there. Then yesterday, a boater discovered the body. An autopsy is pending. Right now in West Tennessee, jury selection, it is underway for 3 former Memphis police officers accused of killing Tyree Nichols during a traffic stop a year and a half ago. Channel 4 says this is his mother, Rovon Wells, who's bracing for a difficult couple of weeks of videos and testimony.
People are still waiting for justice for their kids or sons or daughters. And so for our case to be able to come to trial, we're very grateful for that, because there's a lot of cases that haven't made it to trial yet. So we're grateful, and we're just hoping that we get a guilty verdict.
Now, this is a federal case, so there'll be no cameras allowed in the courtroom. And beginning tomorrow, the Food and Drug Administration will require mammogram facilities and their doctors to notify patients if they have dense breast tissue. It's an effort to improve cancer detection. We get more from Janae Norman.
Women with dense breasts can talk to their doctors and can look into taking additional steps, like maybe more frequent screenings, or think about things like imaging, like ultrasound or MRI. About half of women over the age of 40 have dense breast tissue, and while it doesn't pose an immediate threat, it does increase the risk of breast cancer.
That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
You know, I feel great. I hope you feel great as well. But if you are down in the back, if you do not feel yourself, if perhaps things have gone awry with your back pain, neck pain, knee pain, hip pain, wherever it hurts. I mean, I could go over the entirety of your body. But the bottom line is this. If it hurts anywhere, Dr. Gill and his team of experts at the Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, and Chronic Pain Relief can help you. Dr. Gill, Dr. Wendy, Dr. Dominic, Dr. V, and the rest of the team. I mean, that entire team, they have in excess of a century of experience, ready, willing, and able to help you. And they were the originators with spinal decompression therapy in Middle Tennessee. They bring the latest technologies to Middle Tennessee, like their Class 5 laser system, the red light therapy, all designed to avoid surgery, to avoid the knife, to avoid needles, to avoid having to take pills repeatedly, and to get you the pain relief that you deserve naturally and in a way that's going to be long-lasting. And an initial consultation, visit, x-rays, and treatment is less than $50 at the Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, and Chronic Pain Relief. Call them today. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to the Dr. Gill Center. Get pain-free. 615-882-4838. 882-4838. So worth the drive from anywhere within the sound of my voice. It's the Dr. Gill Center. Friends, do you have the bugs in your home? I mean, have you noticed that there's a roach or two, or a spider or two, or perhaps ants and whatnot? I mean, the bugs want to come into your house. They want the same things that you want in life, right? When it's cold outside, they want to come in to get to the warmth. When it's hot outside, they want to come in to get to the cool. Most often, they want to come in and get to your food. One way or the other, you need to provide a defense of your territory, your barrier, and your home through U.S. Pest. They are simply the best. J.K., Erica, and the rest of the team at U.S. Pest are so good at what they do, and that is they defend your home. They provide a barrier. They are the stop sign when it comes to bugs and your property. They can go to the next guy's house, but they're not coming to a U.S. Pest home. They offer full-service pest control, all of those bugs I mentioned, plus many, many others. They offer every protection available to common Tennessee home pest and yard pests. They also offer termite protection to protect the most valuable thing you're going to buy in your life, and that is your home. So why not give them a call today for a free home inspection? They will not pressure you. They don't believe in all of that. They're just going to come out, tell you what they can offer you, and let you decide from there. Go to uspest.com or 590-1260. That's 615-590-1260 for the American Patriots. U.S. Pest. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matt Murphy and you on this Monday edition. We'll get into debate prep for Donald Trump coming up in a moment. We'll talk about some of the weekend activities, what with the Sunday talk shows going hot and heavy. There's an update on the 14-year-old. I try not to use these shooters' names, whatever their age. This 14-year-old out of Georgia at Appalachian High School in Winder. The update over the weekend, his mother called 30 minutes before the shooting began, and it raises so many questions about what happened between the time the call was made and the time that he began shooting at 10:20 local time last week. So we'll get into that coming up. I realize this. On the calendar, y'all know it's been less than 2 months since Donald Trump was shot in the head. Is that not incredible? How far the news cycle has gone since then? So all of that's on the docket today, but right now at 12:39, I don't know if we're ready for this or not because Bel K will not look me in the eye. Look me in the eye. I'm just asking you to look me in the eye. I don't know. If I call for the thing and the thing's not there, you're going to look at me like, oh, I didn't know you were calling for the thing. But if you don't, I know when I first got here, see, Ken, this is the problem. When I first got here, I told Bell never to look me in the eye like Hillary Clinton. And he's still abiding by that. But we've become friends since.
I did one time, and I got slapped, literally slapped across the face.
That's the Hillary's rules of staff communication. Let's do best weekend ever, worst weekend ever! I don't know. We might take suggestions on the theme.
Yes.
I was feeling it. I was feeling it in our prod room. I don't know if I'm feeling it here. All right. Here's the concept. You tell us why it was the best weekend ever and why it was the worst weekend ever. As a proof of concept, I'm going to ask Mr. Ken Weaver from the newsroom.
All right.
Ken Weaver?
Yes, sir.
Was it the best weekend ever?
It was and it wasn't.
Okay, tell me why it was the best weekend ever.
All right, it was the best weekend ever because I sipped on some fine wine out in the pretty Middle Tennessee sunshine on a Sunday afternoon.
You don't have to say.
When usually I'm sitting around waiting to go to bed. But I did not have to go to bed. I even put my pinky out. Whenever I was, even on smoking my big cigar, sipping my fine wine. And I had my pretty wife with me.
Was that picture y'all took?
Yes, sir.
That was so good.
Oh, listening to some bluegrass music.
We all outkicked our coverage, Ken, but you did particularly good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Well, I made her laugh.
That's right. That's the way you got to go.
And pretty girls they like dudes who make them laugh.
Look, if you're George Clooney, you can sit around and brood all day long and get all the women you want.
That's right.
But if you're Ken Weaver or Matt Murphy,
you got to make them laugh.
You better throw some jokes.
That's right. Yeah, I convinced her I was a prize fighter.
I'll go in the toe-to-toe in the ring.
I mean, she laughed. And here we are today, dude. Married.
That's awesome.
Sipping wine.
Ken, why was it the worst weekend ever?
Now, it was the worst weekend ever because of football.
Oh, no. Y'all won?
Well,
for those not accustomed to Ken Weaver in the afternoon hours, and I could understand that. Maybe you're listening at different times. Ken Weaver is a fan of the Oklahoma Sooners, and I would only say this to Ken Weaver. You ready, Ken?
I'm ready.
Boomer Sooner.
Boomer. Yes, sir.
So y'all played. Who'd y'all play?
Houston. The Houston Cougars, who got shellacked by the UNLV Rebels the prior week. Now, it's the worst weekend ever because one of my football teams lost. That was the Titans.
Yeah.
They lost. They should have won that game. But then, yes, my Oklahoma Sooners deserved to lose because they seem destined for significant mediocrity. Their offense stinks.
Oh, man.
And if it isn't fixed fast, we're not going to win more than one more game all season long.
Ken Weaver. One Ken. I like you because you're like me. I'm such a pessimist.
Yeah.
When it comes, y'all will be fine. Who y'all play this week?
Dude, we got to play Tulane. And they're no joke.
Well, Tulane's not a joke, but hold on. Let me just pull up. Hold on a second. Let me just pull up. I'm going to look up Oklahoma Sooners. Say it again. Football schedule. All right. It was 16-12. And you got Tulane coming up. Okay. All right. Oh, well, that's fine. And then you get a little break.
No, we don't.
Got Tennessee. The Volunteers the Volunteers, I think, could hang a half 100 on the Tennessee Titans. I think they could.
They may be able to do that. I don't know. I don't know. Titans defense is pretty good.
Okay, here's your break, Ken. September 28th. Auburn.
No.
No?
No, not the way we're playing, dude.
All right, what about October 12th? Texas. Golly.
Lord have mercy.
Weaver, welcome to the SEC. Then you got South Carolina, which you would have thought easy dub.
No.
But then they just skull drug Kentucky.
Yeah. I mean, they pinned their ears back and went after the Cats, boy.
Zoo, Alabama. Golly, y'all got a hard schedule. All right, Ken Weaver, there's best weekend ever, worst weekend ever. Okay, best weekend ever, worst weekend ever.
I don't think this is going to fit the concept, but I'm not sure because I was asleep for the overwhelming majority of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think out of the 56 hours, I was probably...
you were when you were asleep, it was the best weekend ever, and when you had to wake up, worst weekend ever?
Yeah, that's fair.
There you go.
The cat's running across the bed, waking me up.
Max is in Springfield. Max, what's going on, buddy?
I don't know, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, but here's my question. I got a question for you, Max.
Yes, sir.
Was it the best weekend ever?
You know, it was great. It was great. I had a best and a worst and a best.
Okay. Tell me, which one do you want to do first?
Let's do the best.
Okay, let's do it.
I went duck hunting this January, and I took some ducks to the taxidermist, and he called and said they're ready. And I asked him to mount them as if they were landing, because I have a vaulted sunroom, and I was going to hang them from the ceiling like they're coming into land. So I got them. They look great. I was mounting them, hanging them from the ceiling. I did the first one. Just looks like a real duck fly. And the next one, the third one, they all look great. That was really awesome.
Good.
The bad part is I fell off the ladder.
Oh, no.
But the next good thing is I didn't break anything. So
okay.
Everything's good.
Did you got some bruising, black and blue a little bit there, Max?
A little bit, yeah.
How high are we talking?
14 feet.
Good gracious. You're lucky, man.
Well, I mean, no, that's the top of the ceiling. I fell about 8 feet, so,
That's still no picnic.
Still, that's a broken leg half the time in my world, so
yeah.
good for you.
I've learned as I've gotten older, I just don't bounce like I used to.
Well, yeah, that's true. When we were younger, I fell off a roof when I was a young kid. My grandpa and I were re-roofing the house on Earl Street, and because you did that kind of stuff yourself. It was just me and him, and I slid right off the house.
Goodness.
I mean, but 14 feet for a kid, you just bounce right back up.
Yeah.
I was 16 years old. If I did that now, I would be dead.
Where the hell was your brother during all these stories?
He was with my dad in Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, he literally wasn't living with you?
No.
Oh, I see. Okay,
He-
that makes all the difference.
He
then.
had left, yeah. And I'm better for it, but at the time, I'm like, man, why's not Brian? I was like you, Bell. Why isn't Brian here doing all this? Steve is in Bowling Green. Steve, best weekend ever, worst weekend ever.
Best weekend ever, worst weekend ever. Yes.
All right.
Went to the Atlanta race. Had reserved parking. Sit in the penthouse. Had the Quaker State Suites.
Oh, wow.
Everything paid for.
Wait a minute. Why did Ken Weaver and Matt Murphy? Steve, hold on a second. Why did Ken Weaver and Matt Murphy not get invited to this event? What's the deal?
I even had my pinky out.
Well, is that the good part? What happened?
That's the good part.
Okay. All
Joey
right.
Logano won.
Oh yeah.
That's a couple he's won.
That was the bad part, wasn't it?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
They just set it all in the spot.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm right there with you, Steve. Yeah, no, Logano. I mean, the trouble, Steve, with hating Joey Logano, and Ken, I don't know how much of a racing fan you are.
Well, he's a troublemaker, isn't he?
The trouble with hating him though is he's a really good driver.
Oh,
and so,
gotcha. Yeah,
but yes, we call him a blocker.
Yeah,
Right, Steve?
yeah.
He likes to block.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well,
Hey, you haven't spent that 2020 bill yet, have you? You haven't spent all that money in one spot, have you?
no, hey, Steve, I appreciate that. I've got that in my office, as a matter of fact. That is sitting up on a bookshelf in my office. Steve gave me the $20 bill or 2020 bill with Donald Trump on it over in I think I was at the clock store, Steve, if I'm not mistaken. All right, one more we'll get in here now. Craig, I don't know if you're playing best weekend or worst weekend or what, but we're going to do it anyway. Hey, Craig, how are you?
Doing good, brother. I say I had a good weekend. The Vols pulled out another good victory.
Man, y'all look good, buddy.
Hey, I'm telling you, man, it's about time. It's about time. We paid our dues.
Let me tell you something. Nobody wants to play the Volunteers right now.
I'll tell you right now, I don't.
I mean, Oklahoma, I'm a Georgia fan, Craig. We're number one team in the country. I want none of the Vols right now. None of them.
Well, we got to work on a running game. I thought our running game was a little slow. We got a couple interceptions that is questionable, but hey, we got a young quarterback. Nick Saban, he's bragging on him.
No, Nico's great. Yeah. He's great. If I figure out how to say his last name, I'll say the full one, too.
Me, too. I just got a quick question. I figured you could answer this for me. If you had to help Donald Trump out, would you let him go on the Bill Maher show?
Yes, I think I would encourage, and Craig, thank you for the call. I would encourage Donald Trump to go. Donald Trump is willing to go anywhere and everywhere. If Donald Trump's willing to sit down with the National Association of Black Journalists, Donald Trump certainly can go on the Bill Maher show. Now, Bill Maher's no fan of Donald Trump, but Bill Maher is a sensible human being. Bill Maher is an old school Democrat, or an old school liberal. Bill Maher gets where the liberals are going off the reservation. So I think Donald Trump would do fine on the Bill Maher show. I think he should. I think he should make an appearance anywhere and everywhere he can get an audience, because the mainstream media is not giving him fair treatment. The mainstream media is not going to be balanced with him, despite what Mark Cuban has to say about it. Did y'all see that? Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban is the dumbest billionaire on the face of the earth. From a political perspective, certainly. He said that Donald Trump gets a free pass with the mainstream media. That's what he said. And, I mean, like 90% of the stories on mainstream media are negative toward Donald Trump, where like 86% of Kamala Harris's are positive. But one way or the other, I would tell him to go anywhere and everywhere that he can reach new eyeballs, to demonstrate to people that he is not this evil incarnate that the media tries to portray him as. He is not the next Adolf Hitler or totalitarian, authoritarian dictator as Kamala Harris and her team are trying to portray him. And I would encourage him to go anywhere and everywhere he can. There it is. That's the first edition, a very successful edition of Best Weekend, Worst Weekend Ever on the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is 12:51. I'm going to pronounce Nico's last name in just a moment on Super Talk. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy. And, you know, if your weekend involved eating, and I know mine did, with football on Saturday, football on Sunday, the race on Sunday, a motorcycle. I mean, there's a lot of eating in between all of these activities on the weekend, right? And if you're a little concerned about your spice game, if you have noticed clumping in the cupboard, you should not put up with it. You need to get with Savory Spice. If you're trying to up your food game, you do that by upping your spice game. If your burgers are blah, if your salmon patties are just so, if your chicken is a little worse for wear, you need to go to Savory Spice and get the spices that are going to up that food and get it to where it needs to be, that flavor level to where it needs to be. Now, Savory Spice locations. One in Nashville on Charlotte Pike in L&L Market. The other's in Franklin, just off the square. When you walk in, you'll smell the smells. They have all kinds of grilling tips. They have all types of tailgating tips. And they have tips for the newbie and the chefs they already know. They go to Savory Spice. So I would encourage you to do the same thing. You can look them up online. Locally owned, that's very important to me. I love Holly, love David. You are oftentimes going to meet the owners when you walk into the Spice. It's Savory Spice. Go and see them. Up your food game by upping your spice game. Up your spice game at Savory Spice.
The Kentucky I-75 shooter search is ramping up, and some mayors on the Louisiana coast are letting residents know it might be a good time to head inland. We'll tell you about it at 1 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you much, Mr. Ken Weaver. Okay, I'm going to do it with the lights glaring. You ready, Ken Weaver?
I'm ready to.
All right. You're the professional.
Don't say that.
Ken Weaver is the professional radio announcer. Now, it's easy to do it in practice. It's a lot more difficult when you're on air and ready to go. You ready?
Yeah.
It's Nico Ilimilava.
Nico Emiliava.
Damn it, I had it, and I've got it. I'm gone. I trust you. Nico Ia Maliava. That's it.
There you go.
Ili Maliava. You got to get the Maliava and then put an Ia on the front.
Yeah.
Ia
Googly
Maliava.
Moogly.
Ia Maliava.
It's Nico
Googly Moogly.
Googly Moogly, which is how we pronounce things on this radio show. By the way, for those asking on the membersnutrition.com super text line, and thank you for asking, best weekend ever. I rode my motorcycle, had a great ride, and swung by and visited Johnny B. at his homestead.
Ah, Brother Johnny B.
And College Grove. Got a chance to see Johnny B. and Glenna. Worst weekend ever, Will Levis. Surrender Cobra right there on the field. Pick 6. Come on, Will. Come on, Will. We're back in a moment. 2 more hours to go. Murphy Show, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
One o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, tracking hotter temperatures and then some rain the last half of the weekend. Boy, we need it. Spring Hill, the latest town in Middle Tennessee, where city leaders are asking residents to voluntarily conserve water due to drought conditions. Full forecast in 5 minutes. Tropical storm Francine churning in the western Gulf, possibly strengthening to a Cat 1 hurricane before it hits Texas and Louisiana midweek. We get more from ABC News meteorologist Samara Theodore.
We're looking around Wednesday afternoon for landfall, that timing give or take just a bit. And we could see a good amount of rain from this. Upwards of 10 inches of rain is certainly possible with this storm system. So flooding will be the biggest threat, along with life-threatening storm surge.
Authorities resuming the search for a Kentucky man who allegedly opened fire on cars on I-75 Saturday night. Here's Brian Clark.
The search area in southeastern Kentucky for 32-year-old Joseph Couch is challenging, says State Trooper Scotty Pennington.
For walking in a jungle, because that's what you're basically in, it's a large area. I mean, you actually need machetes and everything to get through these thickets of woods.
Investigators have found the rifle they say Couch purchased the day of the shooting. Laurel County Sheriff John Root says there are 5 victims, all expected to survive.
It's nothing. I don't think we're going to have no fatalities.
Now here in Middle Tennessee, Channel 4 says the search is on for a man considered to be armed and dangerous. The Murray County Sheriff's Department says 46-year-old Michael Van Dobbs is wanted for criminal homicide. A new announcement today from the Biden administration on mental health care coverage. You've got White House correspondent Karen Travers here with it.
The White House is touting a new final rule that it says will ensure mental health care coverage for 175 million Americans is on par with their physical health care coverage. This action is an effort by the administration to fix what it says is a gap in the health care system and enforce private insurers to comply with the 2008 law that requires equity between the way they cover mental and physical health. The rule aims to get more mental health professionals to offer in-network care, as well as reduce red tape to qualify for mental health coverage.
And in Idaho, a judge has agreed to move the trial of Brian Koberger, accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students in 2022. Alex Stone tells us.
It'll be up to Idaho's Supreme Court to decide where the trial goes. Brian Koberger's defense attorneys have pushed for the Boise area, about 300 miles away from Latah County. The local judge, his name John Judge, isn't saying where it should be moved to, just that it will be moving. In his ruling, finding that Koberger's defense team met what he calls a rather low standard of showing a reasonable likelihood the news coverage will compromise a fair trial in Latah County.
And a major antitrust trial against Google getting underway today. It's expected to take several weeks, and that's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy. I'd like to update you on some exciting news from my friends at Brentwood Hearing Center. Their team of audiology doctors and experts are committed to providing patients with the most recent hearing device technology. Their leadership team recently attended the launch of a revolutionary hearing aid. It is the Phonak Sphere. It is dedicated to helping patients hear well in situations where there is extensive background noise. And that is a lot of times. I mean, at a restaurant, at a ball game, whatever. With a computer chip completely dedicated to address speech in noise, the Phonak Sphere will help you out when dinner is going on and you're at a noisy restaurant, or maybe you're at a cocktail party, or perhaps you're watching a ball game. If you are having difficulty hearing in conversation where there is background noise, give Brentwood Hearing Center a call today and schedule an appointment. They will demonstrate this industry-changing hearing aid technology, which also connects directly to your smartphone and your television. Give Brentwood Hearing Center a call at 615-377-0420. Tell them I sent you, 377-0420. Or go online to BrentwoodHearingCenter.com. Brentwood Hearing Center. Better hearing for a better life. All right, it's Super Talk 99.7 WTN, fresh off the Libertarian Lunchtime Hour of the Matt Murphy Show. It's our portion of the day from noon until 3 on Super Talk. Happy to have you with us. It starts in the morning with Dan Mandis. Boy, that Joan Jones, you know what? She's given Mandis the business in a way that Ken Weaver never could. I don't know what it is, but but Ken Weaver's here to give us the business and the news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And before you know it, Brian Wilson comes along with The Drive on Super Talk, and there you are, 14 hours. Oh, Chris Hand's in there too. So that accounts for 14 hours of live and local conversation every single Monday through Friday on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, we're done with the weekend. We got the best weekend ever, worst weekend ever out of the way. I told y'all that Will Levis was going to be a piece of garbage. I told y'all all along that it was what?
Is a lie.
You don't know anything about football. What are you talking about?
I know that you're lying. I don't know
what are you talking about?
You're correct. I don't know anything about football, but I do remember you saying that you're lying.
I don't know what you're talking
You're
about.
lying.
I don't think I ever said that Will Levis. I don't think I ever said that Will Levis. Well, there's still a chance.
Don't lie to our fans.
There's still. I mean, we got options. We got a chance. We got a shot. It's just one game. Man, oh man, it looked bad yesterday, but 17-point lead, and there you go. Well, let me tell you something. Who else has a lead? That's Donald Trump, and I want to talk about the debate right now and how excited I am that we have reset the narrative and the argument. So the best part, and I can play you the clips, and I'm happy to do so. The best part about the conversation regarding. I'm sorry, I just got distracted. Did you see Elon Musk's snoot? Is this Elon Musk or a parody? No, that's Elon Musk with 197 million followers. I love Elon Musk. Oh, my goodness. I want to hug his neck. I want to kiss him right on his cheek. Musk might be getting banned in the UK. Did you hear that? They're thinking about banning the X machine in the UK on the heels of Brazil doing the same. That is one of the biggest threats to democracy, the democratic process, and the voice and liberty of the people of the earth than I can possibly express to you.
You're just a fan of hate speech.
I guess I am. Yeah, I'm a fan of speech, and hate speech is a part of speech. So yes, yes, Bell. Yes.
The crazy thing is all you need is a VPN to get around it.
No, in Brazil? No, in Brazil, they will jail you if they catch you using a VPN.
That is beyond ridiculous.
When the totalitarian state begins to dictate what you can and cannot do, they don't stop. And that is the entire point. When we talk about a slippery slope, the first thing they say is, hey, guys, you guys really don't need to be going on X. This is bad stuff, so don't go there. And then you go there. And they say, hey, X, you really need to stop what you're doing because we don't like what you're doing and we're going to limit your ability to do it. And X does it anyway. And then they say, really seriously, guys, we're going to punish you if you continue to frequent this platform that is doing nothing wrong except freedom of expression and freedom of speech. And the Brazilian people do it anyway. And then they say, hey, we're going to flag you, and we're going to identify you, and we're going to come and see you. And then they start using VPNs. And then they say, okay, we're banning X. And then they start using VPNs even more. And then they say, well, we're going to punish you if you use VPNs, and we're going to put you in jail. The natural result of a totalitarian state is jail for those that insist on liberty and freedom. In every country around the world, when these things begin, you will either comply or you will be punished severely with jail. See, if you want to know how totalitarianism ends, if you want to know what a fascist state looks like, I mean, and these words can be used interchangeable for the purpose of our discussions here, and I understand they're a little bit different from an economic standpoint, but totalitarianism, fascism, authoritarianism, communism, or socialism, all of them end in the same place. You either comply with the demands of the state or you lose whatever freedom the state is willing to give you. You see it in China. You see it in North Korea. You see it in Cuba. You see it in Venezuela. I'll tell you, what's happening in South America is a crying shame that we're not covering it more in the United States. And the reason we're not covering it more in the United States is there are major swaths of the mainstream media that want more of it here. The mainstream media would like to see Elon Musk shut down because Elon Musk provides a platform for people with different perspectives and viewpoints than theirs to actually speak in a way that people can absorb it and see it and hear it.
I don't know, so I'm going to ask you if you do. How much in financial aid do we pump into that country?
Oh, gosh. Into Brazil?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see. Let me use the
that
old
really
DuckDuckGo.
needs to be zero.
Let me see the old DuckDuckGo aid.
I mean, it needs to be zero, but not just because of this, but especially because of this.
The United States has provided financial aid to Brazil for a number of years for a variety of reasons, including humanitarian assistance, COVID-19 response, and economic development. In May of 2024, for example, the United States provided $50,000 in humanitarian aid to Brazil through World Vision. That doesn't sound like a lot. Oh, here we go. Since 2012, annual aid obligation to Brazil is roughly $30 million annually.
Yeah, that we are basically subsidizing a totalitarian state.
Right, because they, like I say, it starts with, hey, don't do that, and it ends with you go to jail. And the UK is seeing that with people who are posting on social media platforms in a way that is not consistent with what the UK demands that you think about the scourge and invasion of legal immigration in that country that has come to that country without any desire to absorb themselves into the fabric of their culture. These immigrants, and it's difficult for me not to say illegal because there's so many illegals here, these immigrants have descended into the UK and they are changing neighborhoods. They're changing their country's culture. And for those who have noticed that change has come with crime and that change has come with other violations of human rights and the law, those people that call it out are being arrested.
There's literally been instances of people getting more jail time for a Facebook post than for rape.
Mm-hmm. That's real, friends. What Bell just said is real. That people are receiving more jail sentence, more time in jail for posting a thought about the alien invasion into the UK on Facebook than actually raping another human being. Now, back to the United States. You've heard the Springfield, Ohio stories, and I can give you the evidence. I mean, we have the receipts. Elon Musk got me off my game for a second because Elon Musk just posted about an hour ago, and I've thought about this. Springfield, Ohio, one of the reasons The Simpsons so many years ago selected the name Springfield, I think I've heard this correctly, that, what's his name? The guy that started The Simpsons, Matt Groening, I believe that is it. Yeah, Groening. He said that he looked and there's a Springfield in every state. or almost every state. And because there was a Springfield in almost every state, he felt that would be a good name for his fictional Springfield on The Simpsons. And now 30 years later, here we are. But Elon Musk, in reference to Springfield, posted a photo, and it says Ohio RN, standing for right now, and it's a photo of Bart and Lisa Simpson in a cemetery looking at the grave of Snowball, their cat. They're eating cats in Springfield, and ducks, and probably geese, and other animals that they can find. They are the horde of Haitian immigrants that have descended upon Springfield, Ohio. Now, let's be very, very clear. I do not fault. I obviously, with the people trying to make a better life for themselves coming into the country illegally, there are murderers, there are rapists, there are gangbangers, there are terrorists, there are ne'er-do-wells, and generally speaking, bad people. Obviously, we don't know one from the other, which is a part of the problem. But a lot of the people that are taking advantage of the Joe Biden-Kamala Harris border, or lack of border, are people trying to make a better life for themselves. These people come from a variety of different countries with a variety of different cultures. In a lot of ways, I could point to you parts of those cultures that are good. I mean, there are many aspects of the Mexican culture, for example, that we've absorbed into the United States of America, and we appreciate. Food. The food. I love Mexican food. Authentic, which is difficult to get. I mean, I've long said that it's hard to get a bad Mexican meal around Nashville, Tennessee. It's also hard to get a good one. I don't really know of a good Mexican restaurant as of yet. Maybe you can hit me up on the membersnutrition.com super deck. Most of it is meh. It's okay, but it's not great. Hard to get really good Mexican, hard to get really bad Mexican. But anyway, I digress. The food. I mean, I've been to parties where there's nary a brown person at the party, but they got a piñata because those are fun, right? Mexican culture. And on it goes. I mean, I could talk to you about Brazil, whatever. There are many great aspects of cultures from around the world that we look at and we love and we enjoy. Well, people coming to the United States of America through our southern border illegally, they are not necessarily the best nor the brightest in those individual countries. I'm not saying they're bad people. They are in a bad way, and they're looking for a better life. And in some respects, they come from cultures and countries that are just absolute crap holes. Donald Trump said it when he was president, and instead of taking it for what it was and accepting it was a fact, the media ran with it. No, Donald Trump's such a bad person. Why? Because he told the truth. When Donald Trump said that Haiti was a crap hole, he didn't use crap. Y'all remember. He was telling the truth. I've never been to Haiti. I don't need to go to Haiti to know that Haiti's a crap hole. Nobody wants to live in Haiti. And so if I was a Haitian, and by the way, if you're born in Haiti, what shot do you have? I mean, think about it from a humanitarian standpoint for a moment. Now, we have to also think about it realistically. We can't open our doors to every person that's born in a situation where they don't necessarily have a shot. What we can do long term is help those countries stabilize their country and present a government that's representative to the needs of the individual people that are governed, and you, over a process of not years but decades, lift those individuals out of that situation on their own. That's called a hand up, not a handout. Handouts don't work. Hand ups do. But let me tell you, if I were born in Mexico or Guatemala or Haiti or some other crap hole country in the world, and I grew up and got to family raising age, and I had the decision point to make. Now, once again, we're separating the drug dealers and the terrorists and the rapists and the bad guys and the gangbangers. Separate those people for a moment. I'm talking about the people that are just trying to make a better life for themselves. If I face the possibility of making a $10 a week salary in Mexico City or a $10 an hour salary or whatever it might be in the United States of America and potentially getting my family up here, would I not take advantage of the lack of a southern border? You bet your life I would. For me and my family? Because I look at that as a victimless crime. Now, we recognize that there are societal implications in the way that we're doing it so great that we have to put an end to it. America cannot be the salvation of every individual that wants to immigrate here, because we don't gain anything through that. We become those third world countries that they're fleeing from. That is just the reality. And we're seeing it in our cities right now. We're seeing it in Springfield, Ohio right now. We're seeing it in Sylacauga, Alabama right now. And in Hansville, Alabama right now. And in towns across Tennessee. I bet you could fill up the phone lines right now on the Matt Murphy Show with towns that have been overrun with a flood of individuals coming into this country, seemingly illegally. We don't know necessarily, but you can use the eyes that God gave you. You can use the brain that God gave you and figure things out. The vast majority, look, this is no disrespect to brown people, but the vast majority of brown people that are coming into the country right now are coming in illegally. And there's no disrespect intended. You have value. You have purpose. You have a soul that God gave you, and you have work ethic, and you have great value. And I love you, and I cherish you, and I appreciate you. But that does not mean that America must not have a southern border. We must have a southern border. Otherwise, we cease to be America. Otherwise, you get stories about Haitian immigrants eating cats. Because that's what they do. Because that's all they know. Because they have to survive. If they're in their country, they see a food source, they eat it. Why? Because they have to survive. So I don't blame them. I blame Joe Biden. I blame the border czar. Who's that? Who's that? I think we know. I don't even have to say her name. But there's been a great reset in this debate about cat eating in Springfield. I'll tell you what that debate is and how we win either way. And we'll get to your calls on this issue and the debate tomorrow night. 615-737-9986. It's the Matt Murphy Show on a Monday edition. Back in a moment. Kraft Body Scan, it's been such a successful promotion. They've extended it for yet another month. I'm talking about their $149 couples heart and lung scan at Kraft Body Scan. Now, they do more than just the heart and lung scan. I don't mention this enough. They have a full body scan program that I went through that I absolutely love. It only takes about 5 to 8 minutes. You're scanned on site. You don't have to have a referral for this. You can call in and make your own appointment. The scan, like I say, takes about 5 to 8 minutes. The images are then reviewed by their board-certified radiologist, and the results are given to you both verbally and on paper. And friends, you need this peace of mind, right? And for $149, you can get introduced to the CT scan technology that's available at Kraft Body Scan and give yourself peace of mind. You need to know what's going on under the hood, folks. With Kraft Body Scan, you find that out. So $149, you and your spouse, your loved one, you sign up and you get a scan. And all you have to do is make the call that so many others have made or sign up online at togetherwescan.com. That's togetherwescan.com. Here's the number, 615-436-1000. 436-1000 for our friends at Kraft Body Scan. Now, that guy right there has got a great voice. Did you hear that guy's voice? I mean, it's tip top. That's the best voice on the radio station. It can be hard to find someone, speaking of voices, it can be hard to find a voice when it comes to AC and heater repair that you can trust, right? A name that you can trust, a person that you can trust. And I understand that. There's a lot of companies out there. There are a lot of big companies with a fleet of trucks, a lot of overhead, right? They got to cover up all that overhead by charging you overtime or charging you a little bit more for maintenance or service. They don't do that with Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. Jeff Eddy believes in treating you right. He doesn't charge you overtime rates on your invoice, meaning if you call him at 7 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock at night, the rates will be the same. They also believe in you knowing what you're paying for a maintenance call, and we experienced some cooler conditions over the weekend, right? I mean, it was downright chilly on Saturday morning, Sunday morning. And with that in mind, I mean, you go outside and there's a chill in the air. It might get you thinking about turning on that heater. Now, you're not going to do it yet. But you will, and I want you to get a maintenance done with Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling before you do, so you don't smell that smell, and to make sure that everything's running as it should. Get the maintenance call taken care of by calling 615-784-4424, 784-4424, or go to efficienthvac.net. That's efficienthvac.net.
I-75 shooter update from Kentucky. Disturbing details on the death of a man in Nashville whom police say got tired of sitting in traffic. And Vols SEC opener kickoff time announced at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Oh, they're playing at 1:30? Oh, wow. Today? Wow. Oh, no, you're not. Oh, I got it. You're not. I got it.
That's when the information's coming, Brother Murphy.
I've got it now. I figured it out. You know what? I was born at night, not last night, but I got it now. 28 after the hour. That's coming up in just a couple of minutes with Mr. Ken Weaver on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I love that after almost 3 years on the radio station that, and I can't gush enough about this. I love that they finally decided to give me something that I can use as a reason for people to listen to this radio show. And that something is a man by the name of Kenneth Weaver. I hope your full name.
For better or for worse.
Is your first name, the full name is Kenneth?
It is Kenneth.
Kenneth!
Yes, sir.
Kenneth Weaver. Well, we've got, I've thought about a segment, by the way. I've thought about a segment called The Weaver Word. Because it both starts with W. That's what I do on the weekends. I have
you did some alliteration there.
I have some hot toddies, and I think about what we can do. Oh, we can do a word with Weaver because that kind of goes together. The Weaver
like Stan
word.
Lee and naming characters.
There you go. See what I'm talking about?
Peter Parker, Sue Storm.
When I think of Ken, I've never told this story before, and I'm going to do it right before the news. When I think of Ken Weaver, I go, Weaver! And that reminds me of a situation that I had years ago at Beaver's Christmas tree farm. Beaver, Mr. Beaver. That was his name. I'm not making this up.
And he sold Christmas trees.
And he sold Christmas trees. And he had a lot of high school students that would work for him. And it was a huge thing. And you go out and you cut down your own tree.
Yes.
And you take it. So you would cut a huge place, rolling hills, and they had these tractors that would run around, and you would cut down your own tree. You'd go out there with a saw blade that they gave you, and you cut it down as a family. And there are families all around, and then you would drag your tree to a station. They had little flags up, and the tractor would come by and pick your tree up. And the way that you identified your tree is there were 3 tags on the tree, and they all had the same number on it. You take a tag, and then the owner takes a tag, and then a tag stays with the tree. You get it?
Yeah.
So, and then they match your tree with your car when you get back. So we cut down our tree and we put our tree where it's supposed to go, and we were walking around. We got hot cocoa. We're holding hands, me and he, and we're walking around. It's so nice. And then I go up to where they're gonna, and then you have to pull your car up so that they can shake the tree down and get it bagged up and loaded up.
Shaking it here, boss.
And I saw my tree, and I matched my tree with my tree's number, and I knew my tree, and the kids put my tree on somebody else's car. And I see this happening. And I roll down the window and I tell the kid to come here, and I say, come here. And I said, I think you're putting my tree on there. Oh, no. We've got it. It's a system. We got the system. I said, I'm pretty sure that's my tree. And he goes, no, you're all fine. And so I got out of the car and I see the owner, and it's a Murphy moment when I said, Beaver, a word, please. That's what I said. Screaming. Everybody stopped what they were doing. Record stop. Beaver,
Oh.
As a matter of fact, I'll do it again. Weaver! The news, please, on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
1:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Rain is coming the latter half of the week, and until we get some significant rainfall, the city of Spring Hill now asking residents to voluntarily conserve water due to drought conditions impacting the Duck River. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. The search has resumed in Kentucky for the I-75 shooter, as we hear from Derek Dennis.
As law enforcement continues tracking suspect Joseph Couch in the woods off I-75 in London, Kentucky, investigators have retraced his steps before the shootings. Sources tell ABC News the 32-year-old Couch had some kind of domestic dispute Saturday morning, bought a gun at a local gun store, and got into a road rage incident that escalated from there. They also say he had an arrest in 2023 and was charged with making terroristic threats, and with him still on the run, multiple Kentucky school districts have canceled classes as a precaution.
Here in Nashville, police have identified the man killed on I-65 last night. 73-year-old Romaine Soiseth of Turlock, California, was run over when he got out of a vehicle and jumped over the center concrete barrier and then ran into southbound lanes of traffic near Rosa L. Parks Boulevard. Officers were told the man had been in the car for 14 hours and during stop-and-go traffic in Nashville told the driver he was claustrophobic. So he got out, and then he died. Election 2024, just one day until Vice President Harris and former President Donald Trump meet on a stage in Philadelphia when they go head-to-head in the ABC News presidential debate. Karen Travers has a reminder of the rules.
The debate is 90 minutes and includes 2 breaks. The candidates cannot bring in pre-written notes or brief with their staff during those commercial breaks. There are no opening statements from the candidates. The moderators, ABC's David Muir and Lindsay Davis, will get right into questions. There is no audience in the room at the National Constitution Center in Philadelphia. The microphones will be muted when it's not the candidate's turn to speak. And Donald Trump won the coin toss, so he'll have the final word at the end of the debate.
And turning to sports. Kickoff time for the SEC opener between the Vols and Oklahoma on September 21st has finally been announced. Going to be 6:30 Middle Tennessee time on ABC. And that's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Regardless of what the liberals will tell you, crime is going up in the major cities. And if you live in and around the Nashville area and you're not protecting yourself with a safe from Nashville Safe House, I want you to listen up because I want you to be protected. And there are a couple of ways that happens. One, you protect yourself and your family and your property with your Second Amendment rights. And you protect those Second Amendment rights, that would be in the form of guns, ammo, and magazines, etc., with a safe, a quality safe from Nashville Safe House. Secondarily, you can protect your valuables from theft or fire by putting them in a safe with Nashville Safe House. Now, they have all the brands that you know and love. I mean, starting with Browning, which is just the best in the business. I mean, I'm not picking favorites here, but I absolutely love my Browning safe. They also have Rhino and Champion, Fort Knox, and the like. I mean, any brand name, any price point, they have it, and they have different fire ratings as well. I mean, just go and talk to Mark at the Safe House and ask him, when you talk to him, if he's considering Matt Murphy as his salesperson of the year or if it's still Kamala Harris's lead to win. Because he said that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, that team was his salesperson of the year because he sells more safes because, sadly, crime and other factors involved in buying a safe. But I want you to buy a safe because you need one. And buy one from Nashville Safe House today. Nashville Safe House are on the road, 4th Avenue South in Nashville, across from City Cemetery. Tell them Murphy sent you. Oh, pardon me. I'm now mass communicating. I was singularly communicating. You know, it's part of what I do during the breaks there. I respond on the membersnutrition.com super text line for those of you who do not wish to call in and speak, mass communicate to the audience at large. I will respond to you from time to time. I was tweeting a liberal buddy. I was Xing back, or what is it? Posting? I guess posting on the X machine. Because I made a comment about, did you see this stagecraft that Kamala Harris was doing earlier with her at the Penzi Spices?
Did you tweeted that, right?
I did.
Yeah, I saw that.
Where just this setup of her encounter with a woman that was crying. And it was clearly a setup, and any rational person looking at the video, you'll see that they had the cameras ready to go. They positioned Kamala Harris at the front door. They told her to wait for it until the camera was rolling. Then somebody said go, and then she goes, and then the woman's over there, and they have several different cut shots of her hugging the woman. It's going to be
all kind of spontaneous, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, sure. It was a spontaneous moment between two normal people. The desperation that I see in the Democrats to present Kamala Harris as normal is getting pretty comical. Look, Donald Trump's not normal, but Donald Trump can communicate with regular people. It has been demonstrated time and time and time again that Donald Trump does better talking to construction workers and waiters and waitresses than he does really talking to CEOs or executives. I mean, he just does. Donald Trump does better in those spontaneous moments than any modern presidential candidate that I've ever seen, because nothing that he does is scripted, much to the chagrin of his script writers. I mean, and really to his detriment, honestly. I mean, it is to Donald Trump's detriment that they can't sometimes get him better on message. But that's one of the, you take the benefit with the drawback. But the effort to make Kamala Harris a normal human being is comical, because she's not. Everything about her is plastic. From the positions that she's currently taking on any number of issues, to her personality, to the idea that they've told her, look, that fake cackle that you've been doing for so many years, that doesn't work, lady. Please. Oh, God. Yeah. Fake cackle. So it's a little bit difficult to hear. I'll play this because I want to share with you this exchange that I've had from, I find my fair share of liberals on the X machine. By the way, please follow me. Follow us. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, give us the thumbs up, the like. It won't hurt you in any fashion, and it will help us. Thank you. Secondarily, if you follow me on the social media, I'll give you a bottle of water and an ink pen used by me. All you have to do is find me at Matt Murphy Show on the X machine. If you're not on the X machine, it's a cesspool full of awful people, fake people, doing awful and fake things, and I absolutely love it, and I'm there with regularity, calling out the masses. So just find me at Matt Murphy Show. Follow me at Matt Murphy Show. Now, that said, here's Kamala acting fake in a Penzies.
Oh, come here. What is that about?
Okay, so she says, oh, come here, what's that about? As if it's a spontaneous thing she's saying. But she's standing in the door. She's been put there in the door by her handlers. There are cameras everywhere positioned. This woman has obviously made a spectacle of herself. And they say, ooh, this is how this happens. Oh, this is going to be a good moment. Hey, lady, come here. Stand there, and we're going to have Kamala come up to you and comfort you. I'm telling you, I've been around the block, man. You do this for a minute, you see this garbage. But, I mean, Jeb Bush, please clap. This is not necessarily partisan in nature. The fakes and the phonies get called out pretty quickly. And the Democrats knew this back in March when the Washington Post and the New York Times were writing articles about how they needed to get rid of Kamala and get somebody else in there, because they know she's fake. They know she's phony. And the fake and phony is so obvious, it is just dislikable. And sadly, you're watching a lot of liberals try to convince themselves that everything's okay. They're like the little dog in the meme. Have y'all seen the little dog in the meme? And he's sitting there with his hat on, the little cartoon dog. And he's drinking his coffee, and his room is burning. And he's like, this is fine. This is fine. Everything's fine. That's the Democrats right now. Everything's fine. I noticed over the weekend a considerable increase, a noticeable ratcheting up of the anxiety amongst the liberals that I observe on social media platforms, because they know that it's not working. all of this setup that I was describing in the first hour is not working. And they know it. She has not, as predicted by me. Bell, I don't think it's time yet, but you tell me when it's time to swing the Murphy is Right music. Because I said that she would get about a 5 to 8 point bounce, that it would plateau at the convention, and it would start going down from there. And that's exactly what has, you know what? Just go ahead and fire up the music. Just go ahead. Murphy was right. Murphy was right. Doesn't happen very often. Kip. I told you. 5 point bounce. People will go, ooh, yay, not Joe Biden, not Joe Biden. And that's what they did. And the undecided said, oh, I'll take a look at this. I'll take a gander at this. Maybe you put me in the undecided category. I didn't like Joe because he's old and he's infirm. This Kamala Harris, she's got something to say. Let's see what her position are on the. What's Kamala's position on the issues there? See? Nothing. Did you know that it was just, and I'm not making this up. I know it sounds like I'm making this up. I'm not making this up. It was just this weekend that they put up an issues page on her website. It was this weekend. And they included the lie of all lies, where on her issues page, she put up Project 2025 and called it Trump's Project 2025. Bell, does Donald Trump have a Project 2025?
He has a Project 2025 like she has something called the Communist Manifesto.
Right. I mean, right. No, you're exactly right. Does Donald Trump agree with some of the things that are in Heritage Foundation's Project 2025? Sure he does. Does he disagree with a bunch of it? Yes, he does. Just like Kamala Harris agrees with some of the Communist Manifesto. I imagine that she disagrees with some of the Communist Manifesto. I haven't asked her directly because she doesn't do interviews. So they've plateaued and they've fallen off, and they know that, and they're beginning to get desperate. And everything hinges on this debate tomorrow night. And I think Kamala Harris, I'm going to make some debate predictions tomorrow. I'm not going to do it today necessarily, but a bit of a preview. She's going to push too hard. She's going to try too hard. She's going to try to fit zingers in where zingers don't fit. She's going to try to say, I'm speaking. Just wait. Even though the mics are cut when candidates aren't speaking, Trump will say something, and she's going to I'm speaking. And she might have a newbie, and or whatever. She's going to try too hard. That's okay. And Trump will be Trump. But speaking of trying too hard, the Penzies audio. So they set it up. It's an obvious setup where it's designed to look spontaneous. It's not spontaneous. A little thing about Penzies. Now, I'm a savory spice man. And I understand that my neutrality has been compromised as a result. But let me tell you something. There were years ago, before I knew Holly and David at Savory Spice, before I knew how I could get good quality, even better quality spices than these jerks over at Penzies, long before I knew these guys, long before I was in Nashville, there was a Penzies Spices in Alabama, in Homewood. And my wife and I went to Penzies Spices because they had some good stuff. We thought better quality than, there was no Savory Spice in Birmingham, sadly at the time. And I had not discovered them here in Nashville. And it was in 2016 that, I think this is right. This is right. It was 2016. Where the owner of Penzies Spices sent out a newsletter that my wife was signed up to the newsletter. And he sent out a newsletter not even suggesting, saying, if you support Donald Trump, don't come into my show. Don't come into my store. If you support Donald Trump, do not come into my store. I don't want Trump people shopping here. Now, I might have I think it was after he was elected president, so I want to say it was maybe 2017, 2018. I think he had already been elected. And so you know what we did, Bell? We stopped going into his store. I went in one final time. because I think you should do this. And I told them. And they looked like they had heard it a lot. I walked into the store in Homewood, and someone, friendly person, came up and said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Is there somebody like a manager?" And they said, "Oh yeah, our manager's here." And I said, "Can I talk to that? Can I talk to her or him?" And it was a her, and she walked up and she said, "Can I help you?" And I said, I've been shopping here for about 4 years. My wife and I live in Cahaba Heights, just down the road. We really, really like your shop. I told her the items that we like to get more than anything. They had a cheese sprinkle that we really liked and a couple of other things. The taco seasoning was great.
So you're basically throwing your bona fides out there that I know your shop and I know your product.
Well, and you can look it up. I mean, I know that you know how often I shop here. And I said, I'm not going to be shopping here anymore because the owner of your company told me not to. And she said, what? And I said, no. In the newsletter, I said, we voted for Donald Trump. My family did. And on the newsletter, she said, oh, that. That's what she said. And I said, I'm not mad at you. You didn't do anything. I'm just letting you know that I am following instructions. She said, okay. And I left. Never went back. Thank goodness I don't have to worry about that now because I got Savory Spice, and Savory Spice wants to liven up all of your lives. Now, they're good people, you know what I'm saying, but they're not turning down anybody. They want to, I mean, regardless of your taste in politics, they want your taste in spices to be 100%. So, anyway. So, Penzies has been divisive from way back. And she walks into a Penzies and gives this message of inclusion and bringing the country together. I'm going to be the uniter in chief or whatever the hell. And you're doing it in a shop where this person has basically said, if you support Trump, don't come in here. Not even basically. They've said it. And then this phony baloney garbage.
Oh, come here. What is that about? What is that about? I think you understand. I'm pretty sure you know.
Okay, so the woman says, I think you understand. I'm pretty sure you know. And I don't know. I mean, maybe she knows, but I don't. I mean, do you know? I don't know.
What is that about? I think you understand. I'm pretty sure you know. Oh, it's going to be good. We're going to be good.
We're going to be good. We're going to be fine.
We're going to be fine. We are all in this together. Yes, we are.
There's a boom mic over the lady. I don't think they actually mic'd her up, but it almost sounded like one or both of them are mic'd up, the way that the sound got muffled when they went in together for the hug.
We're going to be fine. We are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Thank you so much. Did you get some spices today?
I don't know why that makes me laugh. Kamala Harris cannot have a real human conversation. And because of that, this woman, regardless of what, I don't know what her pain is, she's all upset. Oh, what's wrong? I think you understand. I think you know. I'm pretty sure you know. And Kamala says, oh, it's going to be okay. It's going to be good. It's going to be fine. We're all in this together. And then Kamala Harris, because she can't have a human conversation, pivots to.
We are. We're going to be fine. We are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Thank you so much. Did you get some spices today?
Did you get some spices today? You did? Good for you. Good for you. You might want to hold some of that back so the illegal aliens can put something on their cooked cat. 52 after the hour on Super Talk. You know, there may be one more opportunity, and I'm not sure about this because the date is upon us, but there may be one more opportunity or two to win tickets to the Charlie Daniels Patriot Awards dinner coming up this Wednesday. More on that coming up either on our show or on the Dan Mandis Show on Nashville's Morning News. But the bottom line is this, folks. If you've never been, you need to go. I mean, what a wonderful event it will be. I will be there, and it's not wonderful because I will be there. I will be there because it's wonderful, because so many wonderful Patriots will be there. Like, for example, Trace Atkins is going to be there this year, and I look forward to meeting him in person. I was talking to Johnny B about that over the weekend, and he knows Trace as a friend and talks about how wonderful he is. Well, Trace is a wonderful man and understands the pain and the aftermath of 9/11, as does the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project. Charlie Daniels and a Journey Home Project, and really Charlie looking up from heaven, or down from heaven, I should say, wants you to remember 9/11. Don't forget 9/11, and that is happening this Wednesday. We'll be remembering it through the Patriot Awards dinner. After so many years of service, individuals come back from deployment and they are lost either mentally or physically. They need assistance, and that's what the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project does. After 10 years of helping our veterans, we say thank you to the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project. Go to the CharlieDanielsJourneyHomeProject.org today and give as you can. That's the CharlieDanielsJourneyHomeProject.org, and I hope to see you this Wednesday evening for the Patriot Awards dinner, brought to you by the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
Two o'clock on the dot this Monday afternoon. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and we are tracking a good chance for much-needed rain the latter half of this week. Meanwhile, the latest city in Middle Tennessee to ask residents to conserve water due to drought conditions is Spring Hill. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. State troopers in Kentucky say they're resuming the search in jungle-like areas for that I-75 shooter from over the weekend. Here's Brian Clark.
Authorities found the AR-15 style rifle that they say Joseph Couch used to shoot at vehicles on I-75 near London, Kentucky, Saturday evening. Sheriff John Root said Couch legally bought the gun Saturday morning.
If you're not a felon or something, if you can go in and you can fill the paperwork, anyone can purchase the guns.
5 people were hurt. They're all expected to recover. Authorities say some drivers did not realize their vehicles had been hit until hours later.
Right now in Nashville, new details about the moments leading up to the death of a man on I-65 last night. Police say the 73-year-old man from Turlock, California, had been a passenger in a vehicle for 14 hours. Officers were told the man told the driver he was getting claustrophobic during stop-and-go traffic here in Nashville. He got out of the car, hopped over the cement barrier, ran into the southbound lanes of traffic, and was struck and killed. 2 Californians are now charged with allegedly leading a white supremacist group online that wanted to ignite a race war. Here's Alex Stone.
Dallas Humber and Matthew Allison of California are allegedly leaders of a group that called itself Terrorgram and operated on encrypted social media sites. The 2 were charged with a list of federal crimes. Prosecutors say they were trying to ignite a race war and allegedly plotted to kill high-value targets like senators, federal judges, U.S. attorneys, and other high-profile individuals. The indictment alleges they solicited terror attacks from followers. One alleged follower was a 19-year-old from Slovakia who killed 2 people at an LGBTQ bar.
New rules impacting women's health in this country takes effect tomorrow. New government rule about breast cancer, says Janai Norman.
The Food and Drug Administration is requiring facilities and doctors to notify their patients about breast density in an effort to improve cancer detection. So some states had required mammogram reports to include breast density, but tomorrow it becomes a nationwide requirement.
Yeah, doctors say about half of women over the age of 40 have dense breast tissue, and while it does not pose an immediate threat, They say it does increase the risk of breast cancer. And turning to sports, we have the kickoff time for the big SEC opener for the Vols on September 21st. Going to be 6:30 Middle Tennessee time in Norman, Oklahoma, against SEC newcomer the Sooners. And that's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It is debate week, and we'll get into some of the things that I believe we'll see tomorrow night on tomorrow's show. And I just preview some of that to remind you to tune in all day long through the Matt Murphy Show into the Drive with Brian Wilson. We've got full and complete coverage. Mark Levin will not be on his show tonight. Did you see that? Did you see why?
He fell down.
That's exactly right. He announced that he fell down and tore his quadricep, I think.
Yeah, apparently it's between like his knee and his hip or something.
Yeah, looks to be a little damaging to his
bad enough to have
body.
surgery.
Yeah, I mean, he's got surgery scheduled. So the great one will be along later on in the week, and he will have, I'm sure, competent substitute hosts for him tonight at 7 o'clock, following the Drive with Brian Wilson. Of course, it's 14 hours of live and local conversation every single day on Super Talk 99.7 WT, and I'm proud to be with you until 3 o'clock this afternoon. I'm also proud to be associated with the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project. Now, I mentioned last hour that I believed the Patriot Awards dinner was sold out. I think I have it confirmed that the Patriot Awards dinner is sold out. However, I have 2 pair of tickets that I can give you right now. Belle, do you just want to do first callers? I I hate to do this on the fly like
Let's
this.
just do 9 and 10. Callers 9 and 10.
Callers 9 and 10 will win the tickets. 2 pair of 2, so 4 total, 2 sets to give away to the Charlie Daniels Patriot Awards dinner happening Wednesday night. So you have to be available starting at 5:30. It's at City Winery in downtown Nashville. We'd love to see you. I will be there. Brian Wilson will be doing his entire show there, I believe. I think that's right. I haven't had confirmation on that, but I believe that's the case. I'll be there, a little later on in the evening, and I'd love to see you. Trace Atkins will be there. Lee Greenwood is normally there, and I don't have confirmation whether he will be there or not, but he's normally there. Stormy Warren will be the master of ceremonies. He's a great patriot in and of himself, and I am proud to be sitting at a table amongst you at the Charlie Daniels Patriot Awards dinner. That is happening Wednesday night. I actually am. I will be there, even though I have 2 cavities that are being filled Wednesday morning, early. And yes, I'm doing the show Wednesday. I would not miss it for the world. I needed to get my cavity filled, and then I found out I had 2. But I'm doing that, doing the show, and then getting over to the City Winery for the big event starting at 5:30. That is City Winery, 5:30, Wednesday. You can win tickets, 9th caller, 10th caller, to 615-737-9986. So apparently over the week, all it takes to become a hero of the left is to endorse Kamala Harris, I guess. On the heels of Liz Cheney, disgraced former Republican House of Representatives member from Wyoming or wherever, Dick Cheney, the former vice president of the United States of America and hated Darth Vader-esque figure on the political spectrum by the left. The left hates this man. They hate him for what he represents as an oil man. They hate him for what he represents from a conservative perspective. They hate him because they believe him to be a war hawk. For all of those reasons and so much more, the political left has long hated former Vice President Dick Cheney. They believe and have called him out as the devil himself. If there is one political figure in the United States or around the globe that I believe leftists in this country perhaps hate worse than Donald Trump, it's Dick Cheney. Can you think of another that could possibly be in the running? Oh, but no more. No more. Because Dick has endorsed Kamala. I could have said it a different way. Okay? But I didn't. Okay? Okay. That's my Kamala Harris impersonation. Dick Cheney has announced through, I suppose, his daughter, that he has endorsed and will be voting for Kamala Harris for President of the United States of America. This is a man that claimed that he was a lifelong or is a lifelong conservative. This is an individual that has long claimed that he believes in smaller government, that he believes in free enterprise and free markets, that he believes in the American dream coming not from government, but happening in spite of government. And Dick Cheney over the weekend announced that he was endorsing Kamala Harris. As I said on social media over the weekend, it got a lot of attention on the part of the political left because they can't handle my Twitter feed. If you go to @MattMurphyShow, you'll see it for yourself. Let's make no mistake, friends. if you claim to be a conservative Republican, well, let me put it a different way. If you are a Republican or a conservative, I can understand you not voting for Donald Trump. I don't like it, and I would try to talk you out of it, and I believe that you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. But if you claim to be a Republican, I can understand you not voting for Trump. If you claim to be a Republican and vote for Harris, then you are not a Republican. You are an a-hole. And that's what you are trying to be. Liz Cheney got destroyed. Dick Cheney, by extension, and his legacy of neoconservatism and war hawkishness and rhinoism when it comes to growth of government. Most people don't want to hear this, but absent the response to 9/11, and I think that was a pretty significant response. Don't get me wrong. Absent the immediate response to 9/11, and I don't include the Patriot Act because the Patriot Act was a bad deal, but absent the immediate response to 9/11, George W. Bush's presidency was an absolute failure. Tell me a success. Just tell me. I'm willing to listen. The Bush-Cheney presidency, and I understand that 9/11 changed everything, but they failed in figuring out 9/11 before it happened. And beyond the response to 9/11, there was nothing else in his presidency. And so now Dick Cheney has decided that he's going to come out and he's going to endorse.
We just got more breaking news from Republican Liz Cheney. Remember, she said that she wasn't just against Trump, but she felt, as a defense of democracy, she was going to vote for Kamala Harris, someone who she has significant policy differences with. And now she's talking.
See, if you have the policy, if you are a conservative or a Republican, you can't vote for Kamala Harris. Once again, sitting it out is not enough for the Cheneys. They have to try to make a statement. They are enjoying the attention, the positive attention that they're getting from MSNBC. Organizations that called Liz Cheney's father the devil are now embracing him because he came out against Trump.
About who her father will be voting for.
Dick Cheney, your father, a beloved figure among Democrats for many, many years. Do you, if you know who he will be supporting or who he'll be voting for, do you care to share with us who he might be voting for?
By the way, I have no illusions. This is some sort of commentator from the Texas Tribune out of Austin, Texas. He knows the answer to this question before asking.
Cheney will be voting for Kamala Harris.
Well, there you go. Dick Cheney will be voting for Kamala Harris. Way to go, Dick. You're not a Republican. You're not a conservative. You're just an a-hole. I mean, once again, don't claim to be something that you're not and then demonstrate that you're not and expect that I'm not going to call you out on that. Now, at least George W. Bush, once again, absent 9/11, failure as a president of the United States of America, at least he had the good grace to announce that he was staying out of the endorsement game. I absolutely hate endorsements. I've always hated endorsements. Have I mentioned how much I hate endorsements? I hate it when people ask me who I'm endorsing. I hate it when I hear other politicians endorsing other politicians. I hate it when I hear political figures or sports figures or entertainment figures endorsing this person or that person because it lends itself to the stupidity of the voting public. And here's what I mean. Make your own decisions. Be your own man or woman. Don't lean on or wait. Look, I appreciate every single one of you that listen to this radio show, but I don't expect that you'll agree with me on everything. And I have great respect for your opinion, and I appreciate that you have great respect for mine. I truly do. I honor that respect that we share together. But for goodness sake, don't wait for me to endorse a candidate so you know who to vote for. For goodness sake, figure that out on your own. Please. Endorsements are junk. They have always been motivated by two things: lazy voters and ego-driven personalities. And I'm not trying to cast aspersions on any of my colleagues in the talk radio game. Certainly, I mean, obviously, I'm not talking about anybody on Super Talk. But more broadly, these commentators that, I will be announcing my endorsements coming this Friday, blah, blah, blah. What? Who cares? Make your case. Make your point. Sell your candidate to the listening audience and then allow the listening audience to make their own decisions. This high and mighty ivory tower endorsement nonsense is garbage. And now the mainstream media is just trying to use it against Donald Trump. I've always hated it. I've always talked about hating it. And for years, people have said, who are you endorsing in this race or that race? And I always say the same thing. I'm happy to tell you who I'm voting for and why, but I do not endorse candidates. And by the way, my career would be furthered by endorsing candidates because the candidates love it. And they'll take you out to dinner, and they want those endorsements, boy. I mean, not so much from me, but from major political commentators. Come on, man. They love it. Endorsements mean nothing. Get the positions on the issues. Yes, of course, talk to people that you trust. I mean, and I hope that you trust me. I do. Discuss the matters that matter to you with people that you trust and that you believe in. And then come to your own conclusions. You have a brain that God saw fit to give you, and you can figure this out on your own. So if Liz Cheney tells you to vote for somebody, or Dick Cheney tells you to vote for somebody, or Matt Murphy tells you to vote for somebody, why in the world would you vote for someone because someone else told you to? I've never understood it. Never understood it. Linda in Portland, we'll get to you momentarily. God bless you. Thank you for holding. And we have our winners, ladies and gents, for the Charlie Daniels tickets to the Patriot Awards dinner. Chris, I will not say your last name, although I didn't want to say his last name anyway. Chris and James are the big winners of our tickets, a pair of tickets each. To Chris, I have your last names. I know where you live, but I won't say that to the general audience. Chris and James, congratulations. You're the big winners. 2 tickets to the Patriot Awards dinner. I will see you there this Wednesday night, 2:20 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So we talk about that Glock store party action going on, and I love it. A lot of you have responded to this because maybe you never thought of it. Maybe you never thought of the Glock store being a party central, party location. I mean, obviously, Glock store is the best place to buy Glock. That's where I buy my Glock. Every Glock in stock, and even more than just Glocks in stock. Best place to learn to shoot. Every lesson is a private lesson. The best place to shoot. I mean, private rooms, need I say more. And the best place to compete. But now they're the best place to party as well. You can find out more about this party atmosphere, the VIP room, and the dedicated shooting room by making a call to the Glock store and talking to one of their friendly folks. Dan or one of his gang will take your call, and they'll find out all the details, and they will work out a party plan for you that will fit your budget and that will fit your lifestyle and that will fit what you're trying to do. I mean, all of it is right there at the Glock store. If you stop into the Glock store, you'll see for yourself. I mean, beautiful room, beautiful retail space. They've got the manufacturing division, the showroom, the Shoot 270 rooms, and then they've got the party room, the VIP room. It's pretty nice as well. 615-682-6565, 682-6565. Party at the Glock store. Go to glockstore.com. Men of Valor is a wonderful organization. I'm so proud to be associated with them, and I'm so proud to be able to tell you how you can help men in crisis. Over 90% of the men that are currently in prison are going to get out at some point. At some point, they'll be out and they'll be on the streets. What type of man do you want on the streets? Do you want somebody that's going to offend again? Recidivism rates are about 50%. 50% of the men that get out will return to prison in 3 years or less. That's why Men of Valor exists. Men of Valor is a ministry that brings people to the power of God and brings them to the realization that a life of crime is no way to live a life. And Men of Valor has less than 10% recidivism in their graduates. That's an incredible rate of return. Men of Valor needs job partners, Bible study teachers, mentors that discipline men every day and every day in their lives. They can also bring you closer to God by bringing you closer to the men that need it most. Join us in helping set captives free from their souls and making our community a safer place in the process. Go to movministry.com. That's movministry.com to find out more about Men of Valor.
All right, we got a crash on the North Loop downtown. It is impacting the right lane. Actually, this isn't a crash. Sorry about that, but problematic nonetheless. Disabled vehicle is blocking the right lane, 65 northbound, right there at I-24. And Kentucky authorities just updated the search for that highway shooting suspect. We'll give you all that at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
See, Ken Weaver is prognosticating because if there's a disabled vehicle on the loop, in a minute it'll be a crash because sadly somebody will probably run into that thing. But one way or the other, watch out because there's traffic all over the joint. 26 minutes after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Linda was coming to you and Linda hung up. Linda, God bless. Yeah, Linda held for so long and we went through the... Oh, I hate that for you, Linda. But, you call us back and we'll get right back to you. By the way, if you're watching on Super Talk TV, before I forget about this, I saw my good man Tommy and TJ and the rest of the crew at the grand opening of Volunteer Outfitters in Hendersonville this past Friday. It was a big to-do. They had the Chamber of Commerce out there. They had the big scissors. You can see some of my photos online at Matt Murphy Show. If you go over to at Matt Murphy Show on the X machine, you can find me there. Scroll down and you'll see them. They're just off New Shackle Island Road. If you go by, tell Tommy, TJ, or any of the crew that I sent you over there. And does this shirt looking pretty good on Super Talk TV there, Bill?
Yeah.
It looks pretty good. Got this from Tommy at Volunteer Outfitters last Friday. How about that? Making me look respectable. Now, I've decided to keep the collar buttoned. I don't think that's probably no good, right? What do you think?
No, it looks fine.
What about that? There.
Got to remember, I wear T-shirts all the time. So anytime somebody wears a button down, I'm like, oh, that's fancy.
Button, no buttons. Buttons, no buttons. Yeah. One way or the other, Tommy and his crew, thank you so much for the kind words. And hold on, I'm rebuttoning. I can't think. Okay. We appreciate you. So we've got a little more than 24 hours before the election debate. And after that, about 58 days, if my math is correct, until Election Day. And we're dealing with a mainstream media that chooses to go all in for one candidate and chooses to ignore the positive energy on the other side of the aisle. But I think the American people are smart enough to see through this. It is debate week, and I could not be more excited about it because we are well positioned. And I think we know our guy. We know the way that he does his business. And I'm excited to see him in this environment that was created by the Democrats. The Democrats created the environment by which there are no audience members in this studio. The Democrats created the environment by which Donald Trump is not allowed to speak or his mic is not on when it's not, quote, his turn to speak. The Democrats created an environment by which they had to change the major policy position of their candidate in every major way. It really forces, and I'll get into this in more depth tomorrow, it forces David Muir and the other lady whose name I cannot remember, Davis, I believe her last name is. Forgive me, I'm not trying to cast aspersions. I just don't know these people anymore. I know Muir because when we are forced to watch in the Murphy household network news. I watch this garbage so you don't have to. It's not just hashtag never CNN, it's all of it. And so when I'm forced to watch, I mean, I couldn't tell you, this is almost embarrassing. I could not, or maybe I should be proud of it. I could not tell you who's the anchor of CBS News. Could not. I think it used to be Nora O'Donnell, but now it's someone else. I know. Quick quiz, Bell. I bet you'll. All right, I've already told you ABC News. Network news anchor of ABC News is?
I don't know.
David Muir.
Oh.
Thank you for listening to the show. Show starts at 12. I literally just said it.
When I was in school, like in high school, I could tell you all of the anchors. I don't watch any of these guys at all. I don't mean I might hit them once. I never watch them. So it's like you're talking to me about.
I bet you can get NBC's guy only because he does other stuff. No?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know. Who is it?
Lester Holt.
I know who Lester Holt is. I had no idea he was their anchor.
I don't know who. Ken, do you know who CBS's is now?
I think it's still Nora O'Donnell.
She just announced her.
Yeah, she has just announced that she's leaving.
Yeah, see, I mean, because they become so, just non-existent when it comes to influence on the American political scene anymore. And people, it's funny because Norm Macdonald, my favorite comedian in the world, did this. And I'll get to news in a second. I know I got to get to it. Norm Macdonald did this. He said, they did the news and they did, first it was like 30 minutes of the news. And it turns out they had it about right, that all you need is 30 minutes. But now that they have to fill 24 hours of news, they just fill it with a bunch of garbage. If you check that out, you'll enjoy it. Okay, news now. Speaking of, I'm late. I'm a minute late. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Still got that traffic problem. Disabled vehicle on the North Loop around downtown. The right lane is blocked there. 65 northbound at I-24, exit 86A. We're tracking the potential for rain the latter half of the week. Tell you about that during the full forecast in 5 minutes. Kentucky authorities say accused highway shooter Joseph Couch still not in custody, and the terrain where they think he might be is dangerous for the numerous members of local, state, and federal law enforcement departments looking for him.
I gave you photos of it, and you look and you're like, oh, that's just the woods. Until you get out there, there's more to it than just the woods. Sinkholes, caves. There's animals out there. There's snakes. There's all kinds of stuff. So you got to use caution. And usually that technology that they're giving us.
That is very helpful, he says. Couch allegedly shot 7 people on I-75 in Laurel County Saturday night. Authorities say they have the gun he used, ammunition, and the vehicle he abandoned. All the victims reportedly going to survive. Here in Nashville, Metro Police investigating after the body of a man was pulled from the Cumberland River yesterday afternoon. Police say 59-year-old James Anthony Taylor's body recovered from the river near Baptist World Center Drive. His sister had reported him missing Friday night. She said they were out fishing along the riverbank. She had left to get home, or rather get food from home. And then when she tried to call her brother, he wouldn't answer. She got back to where they were fishing on the riverbank, and he was nowhere to be seen. Then yesterday, a boater discovered his body. An autopsy is pending. And beginning tomorrow, the Food and Drug Administration will require mammogram facilities and their doctors to notify patients if they have dense breast tissue. It's an effort to improve cancer detection. The Food and Drug Administration requiring facilities and their doctors to notify their patients about this and then give recommendations for how women can get screened for it and catch it. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, friends, Matt Murphy. Heartland Journal is a wonderful resource based right here in Middle Tennessee, owned and operated by Steve Abramowitz. Steve is the CEO and editor-in-chief of Heartland Journal. By now, you've heard me talking about his wonderful podcast section where he interviews local figures, sports celebrities, entertainment figures, cultural touchstones, and authors, and, of course, a lot of political figures stop by the Heartland Journal. I have done so on numerous occasions. I absolutely love Steve, love what he's accomplishing in Middle Tennessee, and I encourage you to go over to heartlandjournal.com. That's heartlandjournal.com to find out more. They're frequently the #1 show on Podomatic in politics. They can be found on Deezer, iTunes, iHeart, Spotify, all of your favorite podcast apps, and, of course, on Rumble on video. It is Heartland Journal. Stop by their webpage at heartlandjournal.com and check out their podcast. I endorse the Heartland Journal. All right, a couple of your... Oh, Jeff is in here. I need to talk to Jeff. Hey, do me a favor and pick up Jeff offline and ask him if he would not mind. I'm going to talk to Greg first, and then I'll talk to him online. But I need his info offline. He or his wife. I just want to talk to them about something that we talked about in Hendersonville last week.
So you just need a phone number?
I just need some digits. Yeah, some digits from Jeff. Greg is in Columbia. Next up on the Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, Greg.
Hey, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Greg. I hope you are.
I am doing fantastic, brother.
Good.
Enjoy your show, first of all.
Thank you,
Enjoy
sir.
your station.
Well, thank you.
You are about the only guys in the area. I'm in Columbia. I listen to national stations as well as watching the TV as well. All we have is what's up there. I've been in broadcasting a while. I don't know if your guy who answered the phone told you, and I know the rules and regulations that are forth to all broadcast stations. And when I say broadcast stations, your listeners might not be aware, those are folks with license on the wall to broadcast off an antenna as well, as they're all on cable now as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I see all these promos. Channel 5 sticks out. Promo, they're so go get them for giving us stuff that we have to live with. I don't know. The promo is just kind of quirky to me because they're leaving out a lot of news. And when I hear something about Trump, 100% of the time, and when it's on the Democrat side, whoever it may be, you never see it. And you know what? First time ever, I can say that I get a lot of that news off of X because they let it go onto their platform.
You know, the growth of the platform X has been astounding to watch. It was shrinking when and before Elon Musk bought it. It's now expanding, and it's expanding not because I agree with everyone there. As a matter of fact, I get into some just nastiness there. I talk about what a cesspool it is, but it is because people can say just about anything, but it is a bastion of free speech, and it is a great resource for information. You're right, Greg.
And I don't know if I'm sure you are aware of this. Something big is fixing to break. I saw a video that was like 30 minutes long online. I watched it, and it goes back to Benghazi, and it goes back to bin Laden, and it goes back to the Navy SEAL team that went in, and according to this, they were allegedly executed by some of our government officials to keep them quiet.
Mm-hmm.
That news has been given to a prominent senator. There is also a senator involved in the whole bunch of crap, and it's unbelievable. If it goes through, it'll be before the election. All that stuff will come out, and people just ought to be looking for it. It is unbelievable. It gives me chills even thinking about we've got people in our government that have done this. Clinton's involved, Brennan's involved, Obama's involved. I mean, it's amazing.
You know, I need to do a little more research on what you're talking about, Greg, because I don't think I'm up on this.
Oh, well, there was a lady and a man that I watched on X, and this lady, her name's Anna something. She's got a YouTube channel, and it's on it as well. I haven't looked at the YouTube channel, but her first name is ANNA something. I don't know what her last name is. But, hey, boy, if this goes through, it's tenor.
Yeah, no, I get it. I hear you.
As you see, it really is kind of shaking me up because it's unbelievable.
I will. I'll do some diving on it, Greg, and I'll let you know what I find out. And I do, like you, appreciate alternative forms of media and information. Now, I'm not saying this about what Greg's talking about. I don't know what Greg's talking about necessarily. But I would also say that you have to watch yourself on social media. You have to. I've long said that I hate the gatekeepers. I don't think we need gatekeepers. It's one of the reasons that I love taking telephone calls from you. One of the reasons that I enjoy the dialogue that we are able to achieve here, whether it's via the phone lines or sometimes it's a one-way conversation in the form of a monologue. Other times it's a conversation on the phones. Sometimes I have guests. Sometimes we talk with you responding on social media platforms or respond on the membersnutrition.com super text line, which, by the way, it's a relatively new component to what we do on talk radio, but so wonderful to have the ability where you can respond, you can offer your thoughts without having to stay on hold and, without having to put your voice out there. But this is unfiltered. There's no gatekeeper except to say that there are a couple of things that we're not allowed to say because of the FCC. Because, as Greg said, we are a federally licensed company. And we don't ask to be federally licensed, but that's the way radio works. For those perhaps unfamiliar with the history, radio became licensed by the federal government because there were only so many radio frequencies available. And because of that, there had to be some level of management. And eventually, as FM was booming, and AM was still king back in the 1960s and even into the 1970s, and FM became a thing. More and more, the government made the determination that they needed to set certain rules and regulations about content. Because radio is considered an intrusive medium. Meaning, if you have your radio on and you don't know what's coming next, and you don't necessarily sign up for certain things of a more delicate or adult nature. And so as FM jocks began pushing the envelope, the 7 dirty words from George Carlin, all of that came about. And the FCC has certain rules about what we can and cannot do. Now, there at one time were a lot more rules. The fairness doctrine, the concept of equal time. We're still bound by equal time. Rush Limbaugh, one of my favorite quotes by Rush Limbaugh, when Rush Limbaugh first came on the scene, is that liberals ran around screaming about equal time. What about equal time? What about equal time? And Rush Limbaugh famously declared, I am equal time. You've had it all to yourselves for way too long. You've been tilting the scale for way too long. I am balance, he declared. And he was right. But absent those few areas where we cannot go, we are the most open format available to you, period. End of the discussion. Now, I would suggest that the X machine is as open as we are. One of the reasons Brazil goes after them, they want to come after us. Trust me in this. If Great Britain makes good on their promise that they're thinking about banning X, I promise you that America will try to do the same under the spirit of misinformation. It is not, I will repeat it until I am dead. It is not the government's job to tell you what's true and what's not. Y'all hear me? It is not the government's job to tell you what is real and what is not real, what is true and what is not true. When the government gets in the business of truth-telling, it becomes 1984. George Orwell's prophecy will come true. I promise you. Before we get out of here, let's get to Steve in Huntland. Hello, Steve. Hey, Steve. Steve, I can barely hear you. I don't think I can hear you. Hello?
Hello. Let me.
Hey, how are you, Steve?
Hey. You hear me now?
I got you.
Hey, bud. No, I was going to comment about the what you said about doing endorsements,
endorsing political candidates. Yeah.
Yes, and all right. The Democrats get, a loser, two loser congressmen and some other person, I can't think of who it is. But look at who Trump got. He got two presidential candidates that have run for office to endorse him. Now, if that's not impressive, then so I have to totally disagree with your endorsement policy, because they swayed a whole lot of voters because of those endorsements.
Well, I will say that you're right in pointing this out, Steve, that I would agree with you that if you're in the arena and you have individuals that have dedicated themselves to supporting you, I would carve out a difference on those folks with regard to where they recommend their people look. And so you're right to point it out that if I supported Robert F. Kennedy Jr. for the time that he was in the race and he drops out of the race and I'm kind of disillusioned and I don't really know which way to go, for Robert F. Kennedy Jr., I would not say that anyone should support Donald Trump because he told them to. But for him to say, hey, I'm supporting him and you ought to look in this direction because I think he represents more of the values that we were campaigning for than anybody else, then that's a different thing. So you're absolutely 100% correct in pointing that out. I got to run, Steve. Thank you for the call. So many things I did not get to today. I mean, Oak Ridge got named the preferred site for a centrifuge uranium enrichment facility. I didn't get to that today. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were at the U.S. Open. I didn't get to that today. One of those I'm serious about, the other not so much. I will get to Brian Wilson. He's coming up next, right after this on Super Talk. As we welcome in Brian Wilson to the show to see what's happening on the drive this afternoon, this breaking news for those interested, Harvey Weinstein has undergone emergency heart surgery today, was rushed from Rikers Island to Bellevue Hospital, according to his attorney, where he underwent emergency heart surgery. You know, I don't wish death on anyone, but there are some people, when I find out that they died, I say, oh, that's too bad. And others, like Harvey Weinstein, that I don't. And anyway, he hasn't died, but he's undergoing emergency heart surgery. All of that to say, here's Brian Wilson to preview what's happening on the drive. Hey, Brian, how is it going?
It's going well. Had a great weekend.
Yeah.
How did your weekend go?
Oh, excellent. I had a little motorcycle ride Sunday afternoon. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. I love getting a little wind therapy in my hair, you know?
Yeah. I did something that I don't often do. On Sunday, I just sat on my butt.
Wow. I mean, you need that.
Yeah, every once in a while, you just got to have a day where you don't do anything and watch a little football. I wish that the Titans had looked a little better, but just sort of decided that it's going to be a tough week because we got big doings tomorrow, and so I decided I would just sort of chill, and it was nice. It was nice to do nothing.
I'm excited about tomorrow night, and I get nervous when I get positively excited about something. I'm normally the pessimist in the group. What are you? Yeah. I mean, are you going to preview some of the thoughts on this thing?
Yeah, in fact, I'm gonna get to that pretty quickly in the first hour. In fact, I'm going to open up the phones at one point and just say, imagine you had the ability to sit down face to face with Donald Trump, and he said, "What do you think I should do with this upcoming debate? How should I handle it?" And I want to know what people think about it. I have some ideas, and I bet everybody else has some ideas as well. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about with the state of the 2024 race, more on the Georgia school shooting. A lot of information has come out on that, and much of it is very troubling. A whole lot of stuff ahead here on The Drive, starting right after the news.
And it's exactly 3 o'clock right now, so that means it's news time with Ken Weaver, and we'll get straight to The Drive after that until 7 o'clock tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. It's debate day tomorrow, and we'll go over our full-throated preview of everything we expect to see Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris. But before then, it's The Drive with Brian Wilson. He's up next. Have a great afternoon, folks. Hug your loved ones. So long, everybody.